Okay, hello everybody. Oh my god, sorry, hold on. I'm so blind without my glasses. Alright. Okay, sorry. Turn down the music and then hold on, I'm adjusting my camera. I just gotta do this really quickly. Alright. Then after this, we'll be ready to get going, y'all. We are at the beginning of the season. NBA started last night. I have to say the first game really sucked. Don't know if you guys watched the Celtics versus the Knicks, but that was an absolute travesty to witness for the Knicks. But hope you're all doing well and happy the NBA is back, as I am happy the NBA is back, and the Bulls play their first game tonight. So, let's change up the music here. You might hear it add. I do. Yeah. Okay. Hold on. Sorry. And okay, there we go. All right, everyone, welcome in. We are gonna be doing just our typical pregame show. And once I kind of get through a couple of things, like a couple of the kind of some news that we gotta talk about before we get into this game tonight. We're gonna obviously talk about what we think is gonna happen tonight. And then after we get through all of like our typical things for pregame stuff, I'm then going to go ahead and give you my Eastern Conference and Western Conference predictions. I will then also give you my award predictions. So I think it's going to be kind of like a fun topic just to kind of go over. Just by the way, I want to make it clear, I'm pretty consistent. Like I wrote everything down yesterday. So like, I'm not just going to be like, oh, I switched this thing or whatever. Like, no, I don't do that. So I'm going to stay consistent with my predictions throughout the year. So first things first, though, is that we're going to get into the Bulls versus Pelicans game, as we actually have some news to talk about with this one, which is that starting off, Zion Williamson, who is obviously the star player for the Pelicans, is out tonight. We had kind of gotten word that he might not play, and it's due to an illness, but as you can see, many other people, or many Bulls beat reporters have come out and said, hey, yeah, Zion Williamson will not be playing tonight. So that's crazy just to hear right off the bat. So Willie Green did confirm that Zion is out. And then also DeJounte Murray, who I honestly still haven't, it hasn't even set in that DeJounte Murray's on the Pelicans yet. But DeJounte Murray is on the Pelicans and he is a game time decision. I have not heard anything since this tweet has come out. And Jose Alvarado, who is obviously a pretty nice player off the bench, he is currently in this moment, he is also a game time decision. So I'm going to double check one more thing just to see if we got any news about it. But as of right now, I do not see any news regarding those two players. But DeJounte Murray is obviously an all-star caliber player. And so if the Pelicans are going to be down Zion and DeJounte, then suddenly I think the Bulls go from being the underdogs to then they should win this game. And so if your team, we need to keep the pick, which I am team keep the pick, then this is not exactly what I want to see. But if your team that the Bulls can win 45 games this year, which I cannot believe that there's some of you are there like that, but if you are a team that, then this is obviously a good thing for you. So congrats to you if you're one of those people. But as of right now, I still do not see anything in terms of DeJounte Murray's and Jose Alvarado's statuses for the game. So we might actually just get like a game time decision when it comes to those two players. But big news still is that Zion Williamson is out. Zion, I think, actually had like a really underrated year last year. If I don't know if you guys remember, but Zion actually played a lot of the games last year. He didn't really miss much time, and he put up a pretty solid year. I still think there's another step forward for him, but he was still pretty good. And if he's not playing tonight, then the Bulls have suddenly like a pretty big advantage where they don't have to really try to guard the paint as hard and can really focus on the perimeter guys for the Pelicans tonight, as I do think that this is going to be a really heavy like shooting game. Like I think this is going to be a very high scoring, up tempo type game. We're going to see a lot, in my opinion, of like a lot of offense throughout the entire night. And then I think we're probably going to be looking at excuse me, we're we're probably gonna be looking at not much defense, but I thought that the Pelicans were gonna be the team that was gonna really kind of dominate the paint tonight, compared to the Bulls, who are gonna be more so about shooting the 3-ball, which we saw in the preseason, right? But I honestly don't know if that's gonna be the case anymore. Now that Zion is officially out, so I'm interested to see what happens tonight because Zion is out, and how do the Pelicans even look? Because like it sounds like they don't want Brandon Ingram anymore, and so suddenly it looks like Brandon Ingram's gonna be the number one option tonight, and I don't think the Pelicans want that. So I'm interested to see what really happens from it. Oh, sorry, that's really loud. Actually, that's not too loud for you guys, is it? Okay. So that is first things first. Is that injury report? For the first time in forever, the Bulls are actually on the right side of an injury report where they don't really have anybody listed on the injury report. Patrick Williams, who we saw leave in the middle of the last preseason game, he is available to go tonight. He is completely fine. And then obviously Lonzo's been on the injury report for the last 2.5 seasons, and so now he is still technically on the injury report due to injury management, but he is available tonight. So for the first time in forever, the Bulls are actually on the right side of an injury report, and it's just a good feeling finally to kind of say that. So everyone is available tonight for the Bulls, and so we'll see how Billy Donovan actually does his rotations tonight, which is going to be interesting just to kind of figure out on the fly. But no Zion means that Patrick Williams should really have a pretty good game. I think that Patrick Williams has had some good games and some bad games against Zion in the past defensively. So now that he's not playing, I mean, we'll see if Patrick guards Brandon Ingram to start, but I think P. Will should be kind of on his way to not really having to worry too hard about the defensive end. And we'll see how he plays. So I'm looking to see Patrick Williams kind of show out tonight, hopefully. Let's go Bulls. It's just our luck for everyone to be healthy when we want to keep our pick. Yep, that's the Bulls way, right? So yeah, I'm for someone like me who is like team keep the pick, I'm not exactly happy about this, but I also did say that I think in the first 5 games the Bulls somehow win one of them, and so here's the one, I guess. But we'll see if maybe the Bulls win more than that, which I'd be really shocked if they do, but I guess it is a possibility. So yeah, so even with Zion out, I do expect this to be like a high scoring up-tempo type game. I don't expect much defense to be played. We'll see about that though. Maybe the Willie Green will implement a better defense, and we'll see really who comes up in this, like who's actually going to win this one, because the one thing that if Brandon Ingram is still playing for this team, the one thing that I still am not, I don't trust the Bulls in is in crunch time. And so if it does become a game where it comes down to the wire, with no more DeMar DeRozan on the team, I think that Brandon Ingram is still one of the better crunch time players in the league. So if it's going to be a close game, I think the Pelicans have the advantage in the fourth quarter. But if it's going to be just an absolute, blowout fest, right, like at the beginning where we're outscoring them pretty easily at the beginning, then I can see the Bulls taking this one pretty convincingly. But if it's close at all, I think the Pelicans still have the advantage because they have Brandon Ingram to close out the game. So we'll see if this is going to be a close game or not. Again, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think that we're going to see a much faster tempo from the Bulls, and obviously a faster tempo from the Pelicans. And a lot of threes should be taken tonight, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah. What's going on, MC Season? How you doing? Glad to see people are checking in for the pregame show. Just want to remind everybody, this is not a consistent theme throughout the year. Pregame is not going to be consistent. I can do it sometimes. I just can't do it every night. Postgame is going to be try to do it every game. So always be on the lookout for postgame streams. So there obviously will be a postgame stream tonight. Pregame is just obviously it's the first game of the year. So I'm able to go ahead and do this. So yeah, looking forward to tonight. I want to hear you guys' prediction though. Who do you think wins tonight? Because honestly, if I had to go ahead and predict right now, I think the Bulls win tonight. And this is not exactly something that I would have said, obviously, if Zion was healthy. But with no Zion, I think the Bulls win tonight. What do you guys think? The Celtics game has convinced me rule changes for 3 are going to come next season. I don't know about that, but we'll see. I bet a bunch of teams are going to be going for that record. What rule changes are you thinking, Viper Strike? I'm interested because I personally think that the NBA is like, yeah, this is great. But I want to hear you go. I got Bulls winning also. Bulls win. Okay, so right now we have 3 people saying Bulls win tonight. Cool. Not exactly what we wanted to hear, huh? At least, you know, again, for team keep the pick. Viper Struggle, let's hear your rule changes, because I'm interested what you think. Because I actually think the NBA is like, hey, this is great. Sure, it was a blowout, but I think that the NBA is like, yeah, this is fine. We don't have any issues with this. Actually, hold on. Sorry, I'm gonna hide my screen for just a second. I'm trying to adjust my audio. Okay, sorry, hold on. We're going back. All right, we're back. I don't know. Oh, Magugla said Pelicans. Okay, so we got 3 people for Bulls and 1 person for Pelicans. Okay, I appreciate that, Magugla. I don't know. Personally, I just think every team is gonna look the same. Everything's to be chucking them. I just disagree though, because I think when you look at for someone like the Denver Nuggets, right? I think you look at them and you're like, well, they haven't chucked threes in like years, and they won a championship, right? So I think right now, because like when you look at that Celtics team, for example, you look at them and you're like, okay, well, I mean, you have 2 perimeter players, and then all their other great players are also perimeter players. Oh, sorry, that's loud, isn't it? I don't know what's going on with my audio. It's like shifting throughout the entire stream. I apologize. But then even, let's say, for example, the second game of last night, right? I think when you look at the Lakers versus the Timberwolves, I mean, this wasn't really like a 3-point shooting contest, right? The Timberwolves took 41, but they couldn't hit crap, and then the Lakers took 30. So I just always, I think that there is always still a balance. While I do think it is a copycat league, I don't know how far the copycat league will go. I think that we've seen that the Celtics team is beatable. As we saw many times before, that they didn't get to the finals or they lost in the finals. So as much as I want to think like, oh, everyone's gonna be chucking threes, I have my doubts still. And I think the Bulls are gonna fall into the category of like taking a lot of threes this year, but I still even have questions that they're gonna actually take 40 threes a game, which I think that they should do, but I don't know if they're actually gonna get there, you know. I also just want to make this clear that it is one game and it was a record-setting game. So like, yes, I think that it was a lot of threes that the Celtics took, but at the same time, I'm also aware that they were trying to hit the record, and everyone was draining threes. So I'm gonna go ahead and bet that they don't look as good as in the second game that they play. And that to me is gonna kind of, I think it's gonna maybe make people feel a little bit better. As long as you see growth from individual players, don't care how the season goes. If the Bulls actually have like some serious growth from their players, then yeah, I'm you know, I'm not too concerned about the pick, but I have my doubts, you know. So I got you, MC season. Nuggets are the outliers. No team is gonna get Jokic. Okay, sure, but then let's just look like across the league then. Like, so you can argue like, yeah, the Lakers don't, like, they have LeBron, and so yeah, not everyone's gonna get a LeBron, but they also have an Anthony Davis, right? But even that, like, I would actually argue that this team should be taking a lot more threes, and JJ Redick even says so, but they still don't, you know. I think there's gonna be teams that straight up dominate, but there's gonna be teams also that still do it like the more old-fashioned way, which is you get the paint points and you get the free throws. I've said that, like, there's 2 ways to score in this league consistently, which is you gotta be like a great 3-point shooting team that shoots a ton, or you have to be a good paint team and get a bunch of free throws, and you don't have to shoot as many threes, right? The Bulls were the mid-range shooters, which is the reason why it wasn't effective. So I just think that no matter what, there's gonna be this balance. I actually think that the numbers even say so, because if you look at last year's stats for teams, so last year, this was shocking to me. I went back and looked at this, but there was only one team last year that took over 43s a game, right? And that was the Celtics, right? The Celtics were the only team that averaged over 43s a game last year. Now, if you're wondering, like, okay, what did it look like for previous years? Well, in 2022-23, there were 4 teams that averaged over 43s per game. Okay, so the actual trend is actually going the other way, where it's that you see more teams actually shooting less threes. But while last night is like, oh god, they scored 132 points easily and they hit 29 threes, they shot over 60, like, it looks crazy, but I think at the end of the day, we're gonna see them kind of shift back towards the, like, not shooting over 50. You're gonna see more closer to like 45 for the Celtics, I think, for the year. I think the bigger tell will be, what do the other teams do, right? Because, for example, the Dallas Mavericks and the Milwaukee Bucks are 2 teams that have been, like, basically, like, saying, yeah, we all got to shoot threes. They've been pretty consistently up here. You can see, like, they've been consistently in the top 10. Obviously, the Warriors are also up there, but, you know, they're missing Klay Thompson this year, so it's a little different. But last year, the Warriors, they were under 43s a game, and this is obviously the team that kind of changed the world, right? So I don't know. I would hesitate to say that there's a rule change. I think if there is anything that could be changed, it would be that you would see more like a rule in a sense to have better on-ball defense played, if that makes sense. Because a lot of the threes that happen in today's game, it's because of the ability to drive inside quickly and then kick it back out, right? And so if you cannot stay in front of your own guy, then it collapses the defense and hence the 3 is taken. So maybe that's what the rule change would be, Viper Strike, but I just hesitated to say, like, oh, there's gonna be like a massive rule change where suddenly, like, you know, maybe the shot clock's different, or something that's gonna, like, affect the attempts taken, if that makes sense. I don't know what that would be. Yeah. Celtics look beatable until they got off their last guy who couldn't shoot threes. I still think that the Celtics team is beatable. I'm gonna be real. Do I think that they're gonna dominate the Eastern Conference? Yeah, they should if they stay healthy, because they just have the most talent. But I think the West is gonna give the Celtics some serious problems if they meet in the finals. I don't know. I know it's like when we go to this, for example, it's like, oh my god, the Celtics are 61 threes last night, but the other 2 teams took 30, 30, and 41 respectively. So I'm not, like, too concerned. If everybody took, like, 45 threes last night or more, then I would be with you, like, the league might look into it. But that didn't happen, you know? The Lakers got 25 free throws. The Lakers had a ton of points in the paint, right? The Timberwolves honestly couldn't hit a 3, and they were struggling to score. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's just a balance in the end. That, yeah, you have a team like the Celtics who are just dominating the 3-point line, and they won last year, but I don't think we're going to be seeing them start suddenly averaging 50 threes a game. I'd be very shocked if that is the case. What Western teams do you believe could challenge the Celtics if the Celtics go to the finals again this year? I think the Thunder are a legitimate challenge to them. I think the Thunder actually match up really well against the Celtics this year. I also think the Timberwolves, if they can figure their crap out, now I will say I don't know about Randall. That's a little bit more concerning after last night. But I think the Timberwolves are like a really good team that could really match up well against the Celtics. And then after that, I do think it's a little bit more iffy. I don't know how good Denver's going to be this year. I question Jamal Murray's ability right now. And then you can continue moving down the list, and it's like it's not really worth even talking about. But I think OKC is like a legitimate contender that is going to really give the Celtics some issues this year. If again the players that take the steps forward that they should, and SGA has an MVP caliber season, then I think they'll be there. And I think if Minnesota can figure their crap out, and I will say I'm having less faith, I won't lie, in Minnesota as we speak, but I think Minnesota would match up very well. Dallas is the other team that would be interesting to look at, because while I know Dallas just got wrecked by the Celtics in the finals, if Klay Thompson can come back and be 80% of the All-Star Klay Thompson that we know, then suddenly you look at the matchups a lot better for Dallas. You're looking at them like, oh, Okay, you actually have like a wing defender out there that is still not, he's not like all NBA defense, Klay Thompson, but he's at least okay out there. And if we're worried about matching threes, the Mavericks should be up there in terms of 3-point percentage this year and taking threes. So I think the Mavericks, if they're able to kind of get the best out of Klay Thompson and some of their other role players this year, then I don't think what we saw last year in the finals is going to happen again, where it just seemed like the Mavs were just getting outscored left and right. I think it would just be more like it's just gonna be more even across the board. I would still favor the Celtics, I'm not gonna lie, but I think it'd be a little bit more even. But to me, it would be the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Thunder that I can see giving the Celtics some serious issues, because they to me have the flexibility and the versatility to kind of match up well against the the big four, I guess, if you want to call it that. So I'll be interested to see. Derek Jones Jr. kind of stuck it up last year on offense. Yeah, he did. Like, I mean, the Mavericks players that all hit the shots in the Western Conference playoffs, right? They didn't hit the shots in the finals, right? So PJ Washington could have hit a shot. Derek Jones Jr. could have hit a shot, right? So I think, Derek Jones Jr. is gone, right? He's not there anymore. You add Klay Thompson instead. PJ Washington is still there. So it is going to depend on some of the other guys to kind of acclimate themselves and be better. But that's one hell of a backcourt still. I won't lie. I mean, you have Luka and Kyrie, and Stan Van Gundy said it's the most offensively talented backcourt in the NBA history. And I think he's right. So whenever you have that, I think you have a chance. So yeah, we'll see. I swear he got so many key open shots. He did. Oh, for sure. But that's the defense, right? The defense is basically saying, yeah, shoot it. We dare you. And he hit some. Derek Jones Jr., he hit some last year, but then he didn't hit it in the finals. Neither did PJ Washington. They just did not hit any of their threes. I think Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford are very good centers against the Celtics because they're very mobile. They can defend a three very effectively, but still, though, it's going to come down to the role players hitting their shots and not have everything on Luka's shoulders. And if I'm hoping that Luka actually lost some weight this year. It seems like he has, from what I've seen. He's lighter, and I think he needs to be. He needs to be a little bit lighter than what we've seen before. So I'm hoping that is the case for Luka, because then I really think the Mavericks have like a legit shot of like contending against the big dogs of the Western Conference again. I forgot Javonte Green is on the Pelicans. I miss Bro on the team. Wish Green went to a contender. I also forgot that he was on the Pelicans. I won't lie. It was very funny when I saw. I'm like, oh wow, Javonte is there. So 5 Javantes, no matter what. We'll see if he plays tonight. I think he might actually play tonight because Zion's not playing. But yeah, it'll be it's another reunion for the Bulls, and maybe another revenge game also. So yeah, it's cool to see Javonte. I also wish that he, I wish Javonte went to like a contender. But it's hard, man. When you're an undersized forward that is supposed to be a guard that doesn't play guard and doesn't shoot consistently, you don't really get picked up all the time, Sorry, I'm lowering the music again. I don't know why. It seems like it peaks at random moments and then it doesn't. Sorry about that. Luka knee is definitely on steroids. I don't think Luka's on steroids. I'm gonna be real, but I do think that they have a lot of medicine going into that knee to make sure that he's keeping it right. I wouldn't be shocked if they've done experiments with his knee. I'll say that for sure. I don't think Luka himself is on steroids, but I am aware of the knee issue stuff with Luka. But if there's anybody that was on steroids, it's those Boston Celtics from last night, because Josh Hart even said that they gotta go drug test those guys. Because, I mean, I won't lie, man. If Jason Tatum has figured out his jump shot to where it's basically that he can hit the shot at any point, which he already kind of could, but I mean, the thing with Tatum now is that if he suddenly becomes like a 40% three-point shooter, like on ridiculous attempts, like, what do you do now against Tatum? Like, there was nothing you can really do in the first place, but now it's like he's just shooting threes over guys, and you're like, oh, okay, he's just draining them all. Yeah. As far as I think is a steroid, which I think he might. Wait. might be what they use to treat knee inflammation. Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm aware of. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm aware of like medical, like over-the-counter steroid stuff, and or stuff that you could use that is legal. So I guess if that's what you meant, Magugla, then I do apologize. But I thought you meant like actually performance-enhancing drugs. I don't think Luka's on any of that personally. I think if there's anybody that could be on it, it's LeBron, but he just continues to defy Father Time. It's just that the knee issue isn't talked about a lot. I just think that Luka really just doesn't care about the knee. I'm gonna be real. Like I think he's just like I think that there's the difference between Embiid and Luka, where like Embiid has to like his weight really like affects him. With Luka, I think he's just like, I want to just go out and just wreck everybody. That like a knee issue is just not something that he really just is like, whatever. But definitely not. Okay, gotcha. Performance enhancing hookah and beer baby. God, yeah, I need Luka to lose some weight, because I think if he does lose some weight, then like to me he will be the MVP easily this year. But it's up to him, and I think he has lost some weight. I'm just not, we have to actually see the games. But yeah, that man's special. So we'll see. Okay. Luka doesn't really need his knee. He just has an old man game. He does, in a sense, have an old man game, but he also shoots a ton of threes. Like I think people kind of forget, like as good as Luka is, like being a little bit slower than everybody. Like he's not like gonna kill you with your athleticism, but Luka shoots a lot of step back threes, which is what makes him a killer. So yeah, he has that old man style, but he still has that step back three that just kills people. And no one has seemed to figure out how to guard it yet. Yeah, if Luka gets too fat, he might need some awkward performance answers for the post game after the party. That's very funny. He shoots a ton of threes, and I've seen a ton of them off one leg. Yeah, he has mastered that. I don't know how he does it, but yeah, he's done stuff that like. So when Luka came into the league, like my friend was telling me, like he thinks Luka's gonna be great. He also did not think that Luka's gonna be this good. Like what the stuff that Luka does now is insane. And so if he just loses, like I don't know if you guys when the Mavs played in the bubble, and so this was like, it was technically year 2 Luka, but like it was more so year 3 Luka. And when they played against the Clippers and they were up 2-1 against them, like Luka was thinner, like he was just lighter, and you could just see he moved a lot better. And he still was himself, like he was still killing people. So I just hope that he can get to that point again where he's just, a little bit lighter. Like he doesn't need to be as skinny as he was, in rookie season, but just get a little bit lighter and be able to move on your feet a little bit quicker, because I think it's going to help him just last throughout the game better and not have to just expend so much energy. Luka needs to get on that drug. Celebs got on to lose weight. Ozempic? Is that what you're talking about? I actually don't know what the celebs use, but I know Tua for the Miami Dolphins, who unfortunately had his concussion, but he was on Ozempic to start the season. Ozempic, yeah, okay, yeah, it's crazy that people will use Ozempic to get in shape. Yeah. I'm talking about more about athletes. Like I think people using Ozempic is very smart. But like it's crazy to see that like there's actual like athletes that go out and just like use Ozempic just to get in shape. Like I never thought that would be a thing, but here we are. What's going on, Taro? How you doing? All right. Before I move on, so I know we didn't really talk too much about the Pelicans and Bulls game, so I'm just gonna open it up to the stream if we want to talk a little bit more about this game. If we want to talk a little bit more, go ahead and leave in the chat now. I'll talk to you about it. But if we do not want to talk about this anymore, then I'm going to take the last 30 minutes to talk about my standing predictions. So you guys go ahead and tell me what we want to do. So again, no Zion. I'm going to check one more time from Casey Johnson to see if DeJounte has made a decision. I have not seen anything yet. So No Zion Williamson tonight for the Pelicans. It sounds like DeJounte Murray and Alvarado might not play. My guess is though is that they will play. So I'm interested to see if who is going to be available tonight. But with the fact that Zion is not available, I'm going to go. I've already said that I think the Bulls win tonight, whether DeJounte does play tonight. It still has not settled in that DeJounte is a Pelican. That still hasn't settled in for me. But if Zion's not playing, I think the Bulls win tonight. And so for a person that thinks that they need to keep the pick, then here we go. This is not great. But for the people that think the Bulls can win 45 games this year, then this is great for you. So good luck with that. Has starting lineup's been released? I can check for you, actually. I don't think they have, though. If you hear the dogs barking, I do apologize. I'm so sorry. It's the dogs have been barking all day. Okay, so Bulls starting lineup has been released. It's the typical starting lineup. Here's our starting lineup tonight. Not shocking. This is the starting lineup we saw in preseason when everyone's healthy. And you know, nothing surprising here. So Giddey, White in the backcourt, and Levine, P. Will, Vucevic in the front court. I do not know about the Pelicans just yet, so I can't officially tell you about that yet. But I will check Pelicans Twitter. Okay, they did. All right. Starting lineup for the Pelicans. Okay, actually, here we go. So we do know DeJounte is playing tonight. I appreciate this. So DeJounte Murray is playing tonight. CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, Herb Jones, and Daniel Tice. The rumor is that Herb Jones will be the starting five if Zion is in, right? So when Zion does play, like Zion's like the power forward, and Herb Jones would be the center, quote unquote. You can flip them, doesn't matter. But the Pelicans would be small. They are still small because Tice is an undersized big, but it is still a smaller lineup out there, but it's not as small as it would be if Zion was playing. But obviously Zion is Zion. So I think the Bulls should win this game tonight if they go out and play correctly. Not exactly thrilling for me, but thrilling for some people. So yeah. So I know who you got winning and by how much. So in my opinion, this could be a high scoring game. I think we're going to see a lot of up-tempo play style. I thought the Pelicans would kind of dominate the paint and the Bulls would dominate the three. I don't really know about that anymore because Zion's not playing anymore. And I thought Zion would just kill the Bulls tonight. But I'm going to go ahead and say I think the Bulls, it's going to be like 118, I'll say 110 Bulls tonight. That would be my guess. That it would be. I like to see Smith start one of these games. I also would like to see Smith starting. Yeah. Is Embiid playing tonight versus Milwaukee? He is not. Embiid is out for the next 3 games. Yeah. Herb Jones' starting 5 is so dumb. I agree. I don't like that decision. But I think if you say Zion is the 5, I think it's a little bit better. But yeah. Why is Zion not playing? Well, this makes me mad. I want the Bulls to beat them at full strength. Zion is not playing due to a virus. He's just sick. It was already reported that yesterday he did not practice or whatever the Pelicans did yesterday, maybe a shoot around. He was not in attendance, and then I was keeping track of it, and it just seemed like he has not gotten better. So Zion is out due to illness tonight, some sort of virus that he's dealing with. Zach is a high man in terms of points to 21. Okay, that's lower than I thought you would say, but I think tonight we're going to see Brandon Ingram. I think will be the high man in the entire game, but I think Zach LaVine will be the high man for the Bulls. I agree with that. I think BI is going to be the number 1 option tonight, and the Bulls have always struggled to guard Ingram. So I think Ingram was off for a good chunk. All right. That is the preview for the Bulls-Pelicans game, though. I do want to go ahead and give you guys... So we have about 20-ish minutes here. So I want to go ahead and give you guys my predictions overall for the conference standings. And then I'm also going to go ahead and give you my award predictions for the year. So first things first, we're going to start with the Western Conference. Or actually, no, we're going to start with the East because if you guys did watch my 5 predictions for the Bulls season video, I did preview my Eastern Conference in there. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just basically redo it. So I had the Boston Celtics at number 1. They're kind of in their own tier. They're gonna be there. In my opinion, like as long as they stay healthy, even if they don't have Porzingis for a while, I think that they should just easily just stay at the top of the Eastern Conference all season like they did last year. My number 2 seed was the Knicks. I think that Tom Thibodeau always gets 110% out of every player in every regular season game, and then come playoff time, they do not get past the second round because that is the way that Tibbs works. So I think that the Knicks will be the 2 seed. I know it doesn't look great after last night, but I think that the Knicks are going to just play hard every single night. Now, I will say, Mikal Bridges can't get his jump shot going. I know that he kind of had a nice little run in the second half of that game, but I'm concerned about Mikal because it seemed like he had 2 different shooting forms in that same game, and I don't like that. So, Bridges, he's got to figure his crap out. By the way, OG Anunoby got paid $212 million this past offseason, and he scored 4 points. So the guy that they traded 5 first-round picks for couldn't hit a damn shot in the first half, and then he's changing shooting forms in the middle of the game. And then the other guy they paid $212 million to only scored 4 points in that game. So I'm going to hope that those guys play better, but if they don't, then I think the New York Knicks are in serious trouble because they just spent a ton of resources on those 2 specific players, neither of whom have been all-stars before. So we'll see how that works out. My 3rd team I do have for now, I have Milwaukee. I will say the way that things are kind of rolling in Milwaukee with no Chris Middleton to start, it's looking worse. But I have Milwaukee just because I think Giannis is going to consistently still play. I think Lillard will have a better year than last year. It will be interesting to see what Middleton does, though. I don't know what Chris Middleton is going to come back as, and if he actually does even play. But he should play this year. We'll just see how he returns. My 4th team right now is Philadelphia because Embiid is not playing at the start of the season, and Paul George is already injured. If those guys were like ready to go, and I feel like I can trust them to be healthy for like 65 plus games, I would have them over Milwaukee, but I don't trust them. So I think they're gonna be stuck at the 4th seed. I then had Cleveland after this. So I think Cleveland, unfortunately, is just gonna kind of be stuck in this little spot here because as much as I love Donovan Mitchell, I don't really know what I think Evan Mobley's gonna take a big step forward, but I don't know what Darius Garland's gonna give me. And if that being said, I think you just have a number 2 and number 3 kind of carrying you. And I don't think that beats any of these guys at the very top here. So it's going to be interesting to watch Cleveland because they had a pretty good defense last year. Let's see if it gets better. Reminder that Garland did miss a lot of games, so maybe they do get better. But right now I have Cleveland at number 5. I had Orlando at number 6 because I think Banchero, Wagner, and KCP was a pretty big signing. I think they should be doing a little bit better this year and kind of solidifying themselves. I won't lie, if it's going to be Milwaukee versus Orlando first round, I could see Orlando taking it. But I don't have them winning more games in the regular season because Giannis is still Giannis at the end of the day. I then had Indiana, Miami after that for the 7-8 seeds. I think these are pretty flippable. Miami just seems to not care about the regular season for whatever reason. So I just always have Miami just kind of lower, in my opinion. And then Indiana, unfortunately, I don't think that they've gotten better, and I think they're just going to kind of just stall. I like Halliburton, I like Miles Turner, and I like how the Pacers played last year in terms of pace and scoring, but I don't know if they've gotten better, honestly. So we'll see what they do with that. I then had Atlanta after that, and I had Toronto actually taking the 10 seed. I know a lot of Bulls fans think the Bulls will be the 10 seed. My only thinking is just that I think Toronto has 3 guys that can all average 20 points per game next season or this season. I think Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickley, and RJ Barrett can all average 20 points per game for them. And so that's like a 3, that's like a trio of guys that I'm like, oh, there's your consistent offense. And knowing the Raptors, they always play at least decent enough defense. So I think that just because of that, and with the Bulls, for example, I think the only 20-point per game scorer that we know of is going to be Zach. The second guy should probably be Kobe, but after that, I don't know. So that's the reason why I just have Toronto at number 10. Toronto is also a team that just doesn't stay bad for very long. So because they were pretty bad last year, I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were this year. So that's the reason why I have Toronto taking number 10. ideally, it also would help then the Bulls in terms of their, lottery pick chances, but we'll see. I had Bulls at number 11, which is, I think, pretty reasonable. I have 31 wins, 31-51 on the year. So I'm just saying it's probably gonna be around there in my opinion. And then after that, I had Charlotte, Detroit, Brooklyn, and then Washington to finish it out. So this is my Eastern Conference. I want to hear your guys' thoughts because, this is going to be an interesting year for the East because I think the West is very, very, very competitive. The Eastern Conference to me is pretty like top four heavy. Maybe you can include Cleveland into that conversation, but after that, it's just kind of like a bunch of middling teams, in my opinion. But we'll see. Cavs maybe high as 3 is my opinion. Okay, I like that's a pretty interesting take. Hot take: Scotty Barnes is the next actual star, and I think they are going to be surprising a lot of people. The thing with Toronto that I know, because Masai Ujiri is still there, that they're going to be good. Like they're going to at least play well. Whether that leads to wins, I don't know. But again, you have 3 guys that, in my opinion, can go on average 20 points per game. Scotty Barnes basically did it last year. RJ Barrett averaged 21 last year, and Emmanuel Quickley averaged 18. And Emmanuel Quickley just got paid. So I just think that that's, again, a good enough core, along with Jakob Poeltl still being there, that you're going to see them go out and, be a pretty good team. They're going to have their flaws because they're so young, but I think they're going to go out there and actually be pretty okay. That's who's I just think they're going to be better than the Bulls this year. I know there's a lot of questions about Toronto, but I think that they're going to go out and be better than the Bulls. That's just my opinion. I like what Charlotte has. I know they won't make the playoffs this year, but I'm going to be watching them from here on out. They'll be really good eventually. The big thing for Charlotte is if LaMelo can just stay healthy, which we've seen very quickly in, for the Bulls as Bulls fans, that Ball brothers cannot stay healthy. I know Lonzo's back, but I mean, he's not starting yet. So, I think Charlotte has a nice thing going, but if their star point guard's out, like, it's just not going to go anywhere, right? Is Cleveland just hired? Oh, sorry, did I miss a? Cleveland needs to hire a new coach. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, Kenny Atkinson is the new coach for Cleveland. Yeah, I think Cleveland in the preseason kind of showed you that they're going to be playing, faster. And I think defensively they should be pretty good, but I just question that backcourt, man. Like, as much as they love Donovan Mitchell, it's the fact that you have Darius Garland as his running mate. It just doesn't sit well with me. And I have serious questions about the team with that. So I don't know. It's just my thoughts about the Cavs team, because I love Mitchell a lot, but I understand he's a number 2 in my head. He is not a number 1. So I don't really know what Cleveland does after this. I think it's kind of like they're just depending on Mobley to like really become like a superstar, which I don't really know if that's something you should be depending on. I think Mobley is going to take a step forward this year, but I don't know if he's going to suddenly become a next Giannis, if that makes sense. Okay. So here's the more, I think, interesting conference, because in my opinion, this is going to be a ridiculous year for the West. When I look at the Western Conference this year, I think it's insane. To me, there are 13 teams fighting for 10 spots. And I'm being legit about this, because the West from top to bottom is going to be stacked. I think even last year, for a lot of people, they were surprised that like teams like the Rockets were in the mix. The Pelicans had 49 wins last year, and we all had questions about them. So, I think this is going to be an insane year. And oh, by the way, the Memphis Grizzlies only had 27 wins last year. That was obviously because Ja Morant only played in like 5 games. So if the Grizzlies just come out and just, are better, they're not going to only have 27 wins like they did last year. So here's my Western Conference. I want to hear what you guys think, though. And I know this has to be really quick here. But I have Oklahoma City taking the 1 seed. I think Shea is going to be in MVP conversations. I don't know if he's going to win it. But I think Shea is going to absolutely go out there and show the world that he is a true superstar like he did last year. And I think with, if Chet Holmgren takes a step, J-Dub takes a step, they obviously got Caruso. And then I know Isaiah Hartenstein is out at the moment, but getting Caruso, I think, was huge for them. So in my opinion, they have the depth, they have the stars, they got all the young prospects that should be taking steps forward. OKC should just go out there and just be the 1 seed like they were last year. My 2 seed is the Mavericks, because I think that Luka and Kyrie are gonna go on and destroy a lot of teams. Klay Thompson to me is gonna be kind of the big question mark to see how they get through the playoffs. But to me, that backcourt is just very, very good. And that they should be shooting more threes this year as well. So they should be pretty in a pretty good spot. I had the Minnesota Timberwolves at number 3. Now I know Timberwolves did not look very good last night, but I'm hoping to just trust Anthony Edwards and hopefully they'll figure things out. I had Denver at number 4. I think this is kind of big. I love Jokic in them, and I know Aaron Gordon just re-upped, but I won't lie, man. I do not know about Jamal Murray's status. Like, I'm questioning if Murray can actually go out and be like all-star Jamal Murray, which I know he's never been an all-star, but Murray has always been like a fringe all-star, and it just seems to me that like the injuries have taken like a massive toll on him, and I don't know if he's going to be the same. So if Denver loses, like if Jamal Murray just can't be his typical self, and suddenly Michael Porter Jr. is the number 2 option, I think that takes Denver down a notch. So we'll see how much they can kind of keep things together there in Denver. I should probably trust them more because they still have Jokic at the end of the day, but I don't know why. I just think that these 3 teams are better than Denver at the moment. I had Phoenix after that. I think that we'll see how the big 3 works together this year. It should be theoretically better. They just got to shoot more threes. The Phoenix Suns, unfortunately, are one of the teams that just continue to shoot mid-range shots way too much. So if they can figure that out, I think they'll be fine. But they gotta start limiting their mid-range shots. As good of a mid-range shooter Durant and Booker, they both are. Like, they just can't be taking mid-range shots mostly throughout the game. They gotta shoot threes. So someone's got to figure it out. My hot take, and I got this from King in the fourth quarter, is that I think Golden State is gonna be number 6. Now, mathematically, when you look at like the roster, you're just like, it's just Steph and Draymond. They lost Clay. Like, who else is going to be there? I think Jonathan Kuminga does take a step forward, but it just seems to me that like no matter if you have a Steph Curry and he's there, I have a lot more faith than a lot of other teams for some reason. So he right now, in my opinion, is going to get them to the 6th seed. But I think that's like my big bold one, in my opinion, is that somehow the Golden State Warriors will be the 6th seed this year. I have Memphis in number 7, so this is them taking a massive step forward. If you're not aware, I think the Golden State Warriors had 46 wins last year, and they were in the 9 or 10 seed, right? So this is going to be a massive step for Memphis, but I think that they can do it with Ja. I had New Orleans at number 8, and then I had the Lakers at number 9. Now, I will say, if JJ Redick's actually going to be like a really good coach, then the Lakers could easily be higher than Memphis, but right now I don't have full faith that the Lakers will get through an entire season healthy. And then I had Sacramento number 10. This was rough for me because I wanted to tell myself like, yeah, Sacramento is going to come out and be better. They have DeRozan, and they theoretically with Keegan Murray being better, like they should be better this year. But then I really thought about it, and I'm like, well, De'Aaron Fox had like an incredible year last year, and the Kings had their struggles. So I don't really know. I don't really know which way they're going to go. I actually have my doubts right now about Sacramento and their defense. I like Mike Brown, but the West is stacked this year, unfortunately. I then had Houston at number 11. We'll see who actually is going to be playing for Houston this year, because I think that they might start straying away from like Fred VanVleet and Dylan Brooks, but they might need them this year to kind of stay afloat. And then I had the Clippers at 12 because I do not trust Kawhi Leonard at all right now. That man's career might be over. I know we've kind of said the same about Lonzo, but Kawhi is at least out for the next few weeks from Sham. So with that being said, I think the Clippers, because they still have Harden, they still are a win now team, they're going to be the 12 seed. Even if like they don't have Kawhi for the entire year, but if they get Kawhi back, then you know they'll be fighting for the play-in a little bit more. But God, man, I don't know. If I'm a Clippers fan right now, I am hating life because Kawhi Leonard just cannot be trusted in terms of his health. I had the Spurs at number 13. I know a lot of people think the Spurs are going to be worse than the Bulls this year. I just disagree. I think Victor Wembanyama is going to go on and have a Defensive Player of the Year type year. So I'm going to say that the Spurs with Chris Paul, they've gone out and, you know, I think Stephon Castle's going to have a pretty decent year. And, you know, Wemby just taking a step forward is going to bring him a long way. So I have the Spurs at number 13. And then the two teams, in my opinion, that will be worse than the Bulls. are going to be the Utah Jazz and the Portland Trailblazers. Now, I explained it already in my video that I don't know what Portland's doing. I really don't. I don't know where they're going. And then I have the Utah Jazz being worse as well. I know they have Markkanen, but I don't think he can be trusted to stay healthy. And I think the Jazz are going to try to be pretty bad this year. But this is my West. So you guys go ahead and you can go ahead and just in the chat right now, what you guys tell me what you think. But also go ahead and if you're watching the VOD, and tell me what you guys think about my predictions. I honestly think this is my predictions, but I wouldn't be shocked if, let's say, for example, the Pelicans are like the 4th seed somehow this year. I know Zion's not playing tonight, but the West is stacked, man. The West is stacked from top to bottom. It is extremely difficult. Every game in the Western Conference seriously matters. So I think that's the reason why the Bulls, at least in my opinion, they're going to get pretty beat up by the West, especially when we go on our West Coast trip in March. It just seems that every game seriously matters, that when the Bulls come into town, like, maybe it's a trap game for some people, but for a lot of teams, like, they got to go out and win that game. So I think from top to bottom, man, the West is just going to be an absolute dogfight, and we'll see who comes out, man. This is going to be a very interesting year for the Western Conference. I would not be shocked if, like, there's major changes in the standings in, like, the last day of the season in the West, because it's going to be that close. So let me know what you guys think. I think that this is at least kind of my outlook on things, but I'm sure I'm gonna be very, very wrong on some team, like Sacramento. Sacramento's going to somehow be the 2 seed this year, as much as I'm doubting them this year. So yeah, I feel sorry for AD. Yesterday he went nuclear, and I know he saw articles about how that was JJ Redick victory, and also history was made between LeBron and Bronny. Yeah, Anthony Davis, like, I genuinely feel bad for him, because he actually had a really good year last year, and no one really talked about him. And everything about last night was, oh, LeBron and Bronny and JJ Redick is a great coach, and I think Redick showed that he is a pretty decent coach. I still have some doubts about him, but we'll see how that works out. But yeah, I think AD went out and really showed that under a better system with Redick, if he stays healthy, like, it's going to be a crazy year for Anthony Davis. Or at least it should be. So, all right. One last prediction, though, before we actually get into the game, as it is now 7 p.m. Central Time. Let me know what you guys think right now. Are the Bulls winning tonight? And we have some more people in chat right now, so let me know. I think the Bulls win tonight. I am the person, though, that says I think we need to keep the pick, so I'm not exactly thrilled. But because no Zion, I think the Bulls win tonight. So you guys let me know. Right now, I think the Bulls are going to be winning tonight against the Pelicans. So, again, no Zion. DeJounte Murray is playing, though. So we'll see. See you at the game. All right. I'll see you, Tara. Oh yeah. Post-game stream will be happening tonight. So 9:30 p.m. Central Time. I will be doing my or whenever the game ends, I will be doing my post-game stream. So yeah. Whenever wish for the Bulls to lose, you need to cost us a pick. Yeah, I'm usually like that too, but I'm yeah, I'm not exactly thrilled right now. They show what Pelicans are still formidable even without Zion or Trey Murphy. Okay, interesting. So I've heard we've had like 3 people say Bulls win, now like maybe 2 people saying Pelicans win. So we'll see. All right, be prepared for film tonight. I will be recording the game. Seems like the antenna is doing fine. So be prepared for film tonight. All right. Let's see what happens tonight. I'm looking forward to at least just some good things. I don't care if it's a Bulls win or if it's just that, you know, we see some good stuff from either Buzelis or Giddey plays better or whatever. I just hope to see some good things tonight from the Bulls, and hopefully shoot at least 37 or more threes, right? So yeah, looking forward to tonight's game. I'll see y'all after the game ends. All right, peace.